Shrinkflation is real, y'all. Oh my gosh. I went to a vitamin shop because I needed some liposomal vitamin C. And the Dr. Mercola kind, that was one of the first kinds that I got off of Amazon. I love that brand. I know what I'm getting. It works for me, whatever. So I really needed this. And so I went to the vitamin shop because I couldn't wait for it to be delivered. And so when I went online, I made sure that it was in stock first. So it was around $19.99. It's great because they've always been kind of around that price point. I think there's a different, a larger size bottle that's around the $39 price point, but they've always had two options. So I got my bottle, I check out at, I'm not really thinking anything's weird with it, but after maybe a week of use, and I was only maybe taking 2,000 to 3,000 a day, if that. Some days I was only getting 1,000, but after a week's use, I noticed that I was almost gone. And that's just something I never noticed with Dr. Mercola. Usually it lasts at least a month, if not longer. And that's with taking higher doses. So I checked first, it was still one capsule, I think is 500 milligrams, or it's either 500 or 1,000. But basically I was taking the exact amount for the dose that I was supposed to be taking. But I was still almost done with the freaking bottle. And it just occurred to me to look at the count, the pill count. And so I've never seen this online, but apparently they make 60 capsule bottles. So I paid $20 for only 60. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Obviously going online, it would have saved me. It would have got me more. And even at the same dose, I've noticed some, especially glutathione companies, if it's liposomal, they'll try to get away with giving you more, but it's only 250 milligrams of glutathione instead of being 500 or 1,000, and they'll have different bottles. So it's some oh, this one has more, but if you got their other bottle, it would have had the higher dosage of the stronger pills. So it's silly to me. It's really, really silly to me. It's so funny because when I started my whole glutathione journey, I want to say it was 2018, or maybe it was in 2019, one of those. It was almost 4 years ago. And I was just talking on Patreon how ever since I first started, I've never been able to duplicate just being committed to my regimen. I've never stayed on the regimen even half the amount of time as I did that first time. So I've never been able to get back to those results that I got with the first time that I did it. And that's in the early days of my channel. So I think I got to one point about around 9 months. And then I started really seeing changes, and then I stopped at 10 or 11 months. But to be honest, around the 8 to 9 month mark is when everything was totally different. You could completely tell. Obviously I still wanted more, but to be honest, I look back at old pictures, I'll just come across stuff in my albums or on Snapchat or something, just old stuff, and I'm holy crap, it was better, or I had it better than I knew. My results were so nice, they look so pretty. Yeah, just reverting back just sucks. And I think I've been kind of unhappy with it for a while, but I just haven't been focusing on it at all, on getting on just a regular, I guess, regimen. So now that I'm going back to looking at prices of stuff, obviously things have changed in the last 3 to 4 years with prices, but it's so funny to me. It is still way, way, way cheaper to buy your own stuff to make your own liposomal vitamin C, or to buy your own reduced glutathione to make your own liposomal glutathione. It is still the cheapest option getting that. The liposomal, the acetyl, whether it's vitamin C or glutathione, those prices, obviously, and I've seen some of them gone up a little bit more, but there are some brands, I won't lie, of liposomal glutathione that are on Amazon that I haven't tried yet, but there are some brands that are pretty cheap. I would say around $20 or $30 for basically a whole bottle, but I haven't done the math of how many pills you're getting, or how many you're going to need, or how many bottles you're going to go through a week. But I just thought it was interesting that there's more and more brands out there. So, but to be completely honest, if you're taking higher doses, so of 6,000 or more, the cheapest way is still just to make your own. And so bulk supplements, like I was back on basically their little Amazon storefront, and like I was looking at all the different prices because I'm buying all of my stuff to make my own liposomal vitamin C and glutathione. So I was looking at like what size bag of glutathione I was going to get. And it was just funny that it's still, you could get a whole kilo of reduced glutathione for just a little over $200 of US dollars. And I was like, okay, thank gosh. Like, this is one thing that isn't insane, but people are definitely catching on. Like, they're jumping on the liposomal bandwagon. It's been a few years, but yeah, they're finally seeing that it's just the superior form of getting whatever vitamin you're taking. And so I think that's why we're seeing a lot more companies trying to push their product. And I mean, the prices have always been inflated for liposomal, but I just think it's funny how now, like, just like the pill count and all of that, and not even that, but like even the strength of how much you're getting, like even just like with the liposomal vitamin C, just like, oh yeah, it's like the same size bottle that I've totally bought before, but you're only getting 60 in there. And that's on me for not reading the freaking bottle. Because like it was still like the same amount of liposomal vitamin C in each capsule, but yeah, it was just like half the bottle was like air. Went through it very, very quickly. But I still recommend that brand. Just if you're gonna get it, just buy it off of Amazon. It still works great. I know not everyone wants to make their own liposomal stuff. And if you do it, there's two different ways. You can either use what is that thing called? An ultrasonic cleaner. So you can either use that, or you can use like a really expensive, like high powered blender. Like, it's not just going to be like your average blender. It's got to be like a good one. It doesn't really have to be like a $600 Vitamix, but it's gonna be a couple $100. And one of the problems with using the blender though is that you're going to have to blend it for so long. We're talking like at least like 7 to 10 minutes that the blender will start to overheat and it'll warm up your mixture. So you kind of have to take breaks because you cannot have it. It'll like mess up your liposomes when you're making it. But I've definitely done it. It's been a few years since I've used the blender method, but I've already bought my ultrasonic cleaner, and that's just like a different world. Because like ultrasonic cleaners, usually they're used for people who are cleaning like their jewelry. So if you have like silver or gold, or if you have like car parts or just different industrial, like they have industrial sized ones even on Amazon. But you just have to be careful because going through the reviews, I swear guys, I've taken the last like couple months just going through different reviews on different models, and I finally like found the one that I trust to like not break on me. But I don't know. It's just funny to me, like how many reviews are like, yeah, after 3 times, like this one broke, or it's just like known that ultrasonic cleaners, sometimes if you don't invest in it and get a good one, it will break on you. So you definitely don't want to just settle for like the $40 to $50 one, though those are like the majority of like what makes up what's on the market right now is that price point. But either way, I mean, I'm spending, I think, $150 on the one that I got. And it's funny because at first I thought if I just buy a more expensive one, then I won't have this problem. And that's not true. There's like a $160 one that I was looking at for the longest. Like I had it in my cart for months. And then once I start going through like the recent reviews, like don't let them just give you like, just look at the reviews. So you have to like toggle it to recent reviews. And then you'll just see like lots of people, even like a couple weeks ago, just like, yeah, it broke on me, or this isn't working, or it's making this crazy noise. And I was just like, dang. So you can't just rely on getting the more expensive one as thinking it's going to be good. Like you really have to like sift through the reviews, and even off of Amazon reviews, like just look into it before buying yours. Because I know not every country is going to have basically the same models available. So there's going to be slightly different price points for everybody, but I don't know, I'm happy with mine. Another thing I've noticed is just like a lot of misinformation about how to make liposomal vitamin C. And this goes for making glutathione as well. Like just understand like you're still going to follow the same process. Some people thinking that like buying ultrasonic cleaners that have heaters in them and using the heater is a good way to like make the liposomes. That is the last thing you want. Like, and I don't know how this is like getting kind of passed along that you need it at like a certain temperature, or like basically I think they were saying like 95 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. And it's just crazy. Like, I'm happy to see more people finally on to making their own liposomal like vitamins, or just even into taking liposomal in general. But at the same time, it's like, okay, there's just a lot of like misinformation, and just, I don't know if they're lies or just people like not really knowing what they're talking about. But when making it, there are definitely, just some rules that you just want to keep in mind. But it's still like so much more simple than, I guess, buying bottle after bottle after bottle. I will say for the vitamin C that I will be taking, I'm not going to be matching it to the liposomal glutathione that I'm going to be taking. That's just because I don't think it's necessary. So I'm either going to take around 3,000 milligrams or maybe a little over that. So 5, but for my like final dose of glutathione, like I will be maintaining, not really maintaining, but I guess I will be taking 10,000 for the next couple months or so. And then I don't know if I'll scale back or if I'll go more. I think the most I've ever taken was like 12,000, but that was rectal syringe. And so also, I still think rectal syringe is an amazing way to get, your glutathione, or to get whatever vitamin that you're trying to take, honestly. But for me, I just don't like doing it when, just like the number 2 side effects. I don't like having that. And then also like having my boyfriend have to hear that process, like that kind of grosses me out. So that's why I'm not doing that. If you have a bathroom where you have like your privacy and like no one else can hear what's going on, then that's great. But just know that usually it is kind of loud when you finally do have to like, go to the bathroom after doing a rectal syringe. Like, it does make noise. It's just, yeah, I don't want to do that in front of someone else. Not necessarily in front of him, but it's like, there's no way of getting around like how loud it is. And so that's just the only reason why I'm not doing that. I still think doing that is still, even cheaper than making your own liposomal vitamins, just because like with the liposomal vitamins, you also have to buy a lecithin. So I'll be using sunflower lecithin. So yeah, you have to buy the ultrasonic cleaner, and then you have to get lecithin, and then you have to buy the distilled water. It's a whole thing, but still, it's still easier. I think I don't know. It just depends on what your situation is and what you're comfortable with. But to be completely honest, that's still an amazing way to get what you need. It still works. It's just not an option for me.